Welcome. Today we will read the introduction and lesson 1 in the workbook, and from the text we will read the introduction to the text. And now for the workbook introduction. A theoretical foundation, such as the text provides, is necessary as a framework to make the exercises in this workbook meaningful. Yet it is doing the exercises that will make the goal of the course possible. An untrained mind can accomplish nothing. It is the purpose of this workbook to train your mind to think along the lines the text sets forth. The exercises are very simple. They do not require a great deal of time, and it does not matter where you do them. They need no preparation. The training period is 1 year. The exercises are numbered from 1 to 365. Do not undertake to do more than one set of exercises a day. The workbook is divided into 2 main sections. The first dealing with the undoing of the way you see now, and the second with the acquisition of true perception. With the exception of the review periods, each day's exercises are planned around one central idea, which is stated first. This is followed by a description of the specific procedures by which the idea for the day is to be applied. The purpose of the workbook is to train your mind in a systematic way to a different perception of everyone and everything in the world. The exercises are planned to help you generalize the lessons, so that you will understand that each of them is equally applicable to everyone and everything you see. Transfer of training in true perception does not proceed as does transfer of the training of the world. If true perception has been achieved in connection with any person, situation, or event, total transfer to everyone and everything is certain. On the other hand, one exception held apart from true perception makes its accomplishments anywhere impossible. The only general rules to be observed throughout, then, are: first, that the exercises be practiced with great specificity, as will be indicated. This will help you to generalize the ideas involved to every situation in which you find yourself, and to everyone and everything in it. Second, be sure that you do not decide for yourself that there are some people, situations, or things to which the ideas are applicable. This will interfere with transfer of training. The very nature of true perception is that it has no limits. It is the opposite of the way you see now. The overall aim of the exercises is to increase your ability to extend the ideas you will be practicing, to include everything. This will require no effort on your part. The exercises themselves meet the conditions necessary for this kind of transfer. Some of the ideas the workbook presents you will find hard to believe, and others may seem to be quite startling. This does not matter. You are merely asked to apply the ideas as you are directed to do. You are not asked to judge them at all. You are asked only to use them. It is their use that will give them meaning to you and will show you that they are true. Remember only this: you need not believe the ideas. You need not accept them. And you need not even welcome them. Some of them you may actively resist. None of this will matter or decrease their efficacy. But do not allow yourself to make exceptions in applying the ideas the workbook contains. And whatever your reactions to the ideas may be, use them. Nothing more than that is required. Part 1, Lesson 1. Nothing I see in this room, on this street, from this window, in this place, means anything. Now look slowly around you and practice applying this idea very specifically to whatever you see. This table does not mean anything. This chair does not mean anything. This hand does not mean anything. This foot does not mean anything. This pen does not mean anything. Then look farther away from your immediate area and apply the idea to a wider range. That door does not mean anything. That body does not mean anything. That lamp does not mean anything. That sign does not mean anything. That shadow does not mean anything. Notice that these statements are not arranged in any order and make no allowance for differences in the kinds of things to which they are applied. That is the purpose of the exercise, The statement should merely be applied to anything you see. As you practice the idea for the day, use it totally indiscriminately. Do not attempt to apply it to everything you see, for these exercises should not become ritualistic. Only be sure that nothing you see is specifically excluded. One thing is like another as far as the application of the idea is concerned. Each of the first 3 lessons should not be done more than twice a day each, preferably morning and evening, nor should they be attempted for more than a minute or so, unless that entails a sense of hurry. A comfortable sense of leisure is essential. While the text provides a theoretical foundation and framework, the goal or aim of the course is accomplished through the practicing of the workbook exercises, through a training of one's mind. The first section of the workbook deals with the undoing of the way one currently sees, and the second section develops what is called true perception, or right-minded seeing. This different way of seeing applies equally to everyone and everything. Of the 2 main rules for doing the lessons, one is not to practice more than 1 lesson a day. And secondly, one must not make exceptions or exclusions in applying the idea for the day. In Lesson 1, we are asked to identify objects around oneself and to state that one does not know what each of these objects mean. The point here is to raise one's awareness to the fact that one believes that one does know what each of these objects mean, and thus placing this belief in question in one's mind. As pointed out in the introduction, one does not have to understand, agree, or even like the ideas presented, but one is merely asked to perform the exercises as directed. More understanding will be acquired in the following 364 lessons. And now for our text reading for today, the introduction to the text. This is a course in miracles. It is a required course. Only the time you take it is voluntary. Free will does not mean that you can establish the curriculum. It means only that you can elect what you want to take at a given time. The course does not aim at teaching the meaning of love, for that is beyond what can be taught. It does aim, however, at removing the blocks to the awareness of love's presence, which is your natural inheritance. The opposite of love is fear, but what is all-encompassing can have no opposite. This course can therefore be summed up very simply in this way. Nothing real can be threatened. Nothing unreal exists. Herein lies the peace of God. The introduction to the text begins by stating that the curriculum is a required course, meaning that what the course aims to teach is one form of an universal curriculum that applies to everyone. This teaching is already set and is inevitable to be gained. One's free will does not determine what is to be learned, but can only delay the time spent to learn it. The intention of the course is to undo the barriers that prevent one from being aware of love's presence. Within a world of opposites, the opposite of love is fear. But in the timeless eternal, love does not have an opposite. And finally, the essence of the teaching recognizes that true reality cannot be lost or threatened in any way, being ever eternal and unchanging. Reality and truth do not change or shift by definition. That which changes and appears to die cannot be real, and therefore does not exist or have any effect. Herein lies the peace of God.